Asiatic, and African Moors crossed the Gibraltar, which is named after the Moors, by the way. And they found Spaniards running through the mountains and forests of Spain like dogs and chimps.
Oh my goodness.
So, like, that's probably why Spaniards are the most racist people on the planet and just hate everything that is darker than them.
Okay.
Furthermore, you have a lot of Spaniards that like to call themselves Boricua. They're not Boricua because they were born in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, you have a lot of Spaniards that moved there from Spain and married their first cousins, half sisters, and nieces and stuff like that to get back that white skin, to breed the black out. So you have a lot of Spaniards in Puerto Rico that like to think that they're Boricua, but Boricua has to do with indigenous blood. It has to do with Taino blood.
Okay.
So,
Taino.
yep.
And those are Native Americans.
Yep. So, you know, Spaniards didn't bring anything to the world. Everything that the Spaniards did or are known for, they were taught by the Moors. So whenever you hear that stereotype about cave people or about white folks smelling like wet dogs, it's not all Europeans. It's specifically talking about Spaniards. And everybody else in Europe knows Spanish history. An English dude and a French dude told me the only good Spaniard is a dead one. My grandfather is a Puerto Rican Taino, rest in peace, from Culebra. He told me the same thing, and I believe him too. I've never met a Spaniard that wasn't a piece of shit. I've never met a Spaniard that just had manners and respected other people.
So how do we know who was the Spaniards? Because I have no idea now.
Oh, do you know Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes,
Nick Fuentes?
He's the #1 Spaniard on the internet.
Okay.
Old closet.
Do they
gay
speak
Nazi
Spanish?
frat boy.
They speak Spanish?
Huh?
Do they speak
Yeah,
Spanish?
he's from Spain. I don't know if he speaks Spanish.
Okay.
I speak Spanish fluently because that was my first language. My parents are from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I grew up there with my grandparents and St. Thomas, where I was born.
So when they say Spanish rice, they don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they're talking about. See, most people like to say Spanish when they're talking about Latin people. So even if they mean Mexican, Venezuelan, Dominican, Puerto Rican, whatever, they always say Spanish. You know what I'm saying? But Spanish has to do with Spain.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In the Caribbean especially, all of us, you know, island people, we call them gringos que hablan español. Crackers that talk Spanish.
Wow.
Because that's what they are. Pretty much the only set of Europeans I can't stand.
Okay.
I learned all of that. Like when I was in junior high, going to the beach from a French woman. You know what I'm saying? And another lady from Britain. They told me that, and then I went to look it up. And my sister, being a valedictorian, she found encyclopedias and all kind of stuff and showed me, look. Yeah, and I was like in 8th grade when I found that out. Because growing up in Puerto Rico, I always wanted to know, well, why do these Spaniards always, why do they have so much hate for us? You know what I'm saying? I never understood that. And as I grew and I learned, then I figured out what the hell it was. So Spanish hate just has to do with self-hate, because they were the last set of people to learn to walk upright, to know how to talk a language, to use fire, and even to know how to bathe. Them Moors shaved them down, taught them to bathe, and taught them everything that they know. The only place in Europe, they depended on the Moors for their golden age. Spain is not known for anything else other than what the Moors taught them.
Oh goodness.
That's why they're so disagreeable about dark-skinned people.
Until this day.
To this day. To this day.
Okay.
They go to the islands, they be like, I'm a retired chef. They visit the islands, whole family of Spaniards get kicked out of restaurants and stuff because they're so arrogant and for real.
I wonder where they get that from. Like, why do they feel like they're so much better than other
Because
people?
they have Scandinavian roots. So like how Scandinavians would have a certain pride, like a natural pride about them. I guess Spaniards want to share that because at one point in time, I guess they used to share the same shit, but they devolved. You know what I'm saying? They were the literal cave people on the fucking planet.
Wow.
Everybody else had villages, language, culture, everything. Spaniards were running around Spain like dogs and chimps. That's why they like to call black people monkeys, because they were the real monkeys on the planet.
Oh my goodness.
And any other European will tell you that.
Yeah.
Any other European from anywhere else in Europe that knows history will tell you that. That's why to this day in Spain, it's only in Spain that they throw banana peels out to the black athletes playing football. They still do that stupid shit.
I
You
know.
what I'm saying?
There's a
So,
very popular one who had to go
They're
over
pathetic. They're pathetic, man. So.
Well, maybe one day things will be different.
Oh yeah, I thought that shit was common knowledge.
No,
I'm 52. I learned that in junior high.
they took the history out. They started taking history out of the schools when I was in elementary school.
Yeah, I learned that in the 80s when I was like in 7th or 8th grade.
Right.
And you know, my sisters who taught me how to speak English so I could go to school.
Okay.
Growing up with our grandparents, they just spoke Spanish. You know?
Okay. And people
didn't even know it was Moors, you know what I'm saying, that were responsible for Spanish. All that stuff they talking, they didn't even have a language when them Moors found them. They're barking and grunting and shit. Like, yeah, when you look up in those old encyclopedias, you find something called a Fugelrad, and it looks like a hunched over kind of like devolved person.
Yes.
That's what the Moors found. So it's not talking about all Europeans. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, let's say like the fatigue is real, right? They call it black fatigue. No, it's nigger fatigue because hardworking black folks been fatigued the niggers for the longest. You understand? Spaniards are the niggers of Europe. They are the lowest form of Europeans. They have not accomplished anything in and of themselves. Everything that they have ever done in the modern day has to be attributed to the Moors who civilized them. If any other European tribe caught their asses back then, they would have wiped them out, and gladly so.